Well, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in once again. Today we have a versus video featuring the Tisas PX-9 Generation 3. This is the duty version of the PX-9. A lot of questions about this pistol when I featured it a few months ago. Number one, can Tisas make a reliable striker-fired polymer pistol and have it cost only $300? Can it keep up with something like the legendary Glock 19? We got $300 for the PX-9. Glock 19 right around 500. Can it keep up? Let's check it out. All right, what exactly is the PX-9? So it's been around for a few years. As we can see, it's on Gen 3. The duty version that we're looking at here is their smaller slide length version of it. Now, this is more like a Glock 45 than a Glock 19. Let me bring in the Glock 19 here. Okay, so you can see the slide lengths are about the same, right? But if you tip it over this way and look at the grip length, you can see the grip length is a lot longer for the PX-9. In fact, let me bring in a Glock 17. We'll have a look at the grip length here. That's the same, but when we tip it over and have a look at the slide length, you can see the Glock 17 is a lot longer. So this is more like a Glock 45. Glock 19 slide, Glock 17 grip length. Now the tactical version is more like a Glock 17, but what we're going to be looking at is the duty. So again, shorter slide, longer grip. Alright guys, once again, before getting started, the object of this video is to see if the PX-9 for $300 can keep up feature-wise with the Glock 19. In part 2, we'll have a look at the performance differences, but I just have a feeling that it's not going to be much of a difference. So again, $300 versus $500. Let's have a look at the iron sights first. Let me get them back to back here. Okay, see that there? PX-9, just a blacked out rear serrated squared off U-notch in the back. If you turn it around, you're going to notice there's some height here. Now, not a lot of ledge here to hook on your belt or your boot to rack it with one hand for your one-handed drills. But they are tall enough to co-witness with a milled out slide for an RMR for $300. Also, fiber optic front. So here's a look at that. Okay, fiber optic front, milled out for a RMR. Moving on to the Glock. Remember, both of these are stock. Nothing has been added to them. Also available in threaded barrel. They have threaded barrel options. Glock 19, just standard Glock sights. Right, outline squared off U-notch in the back. Decent sized ledge there. Still like to see that a little bit taller for that. And just a simple white dot in the front. And for those that have never seen Glock sights, that's what it looks like there. All right, we'll go back to back once more. And I'm going to tell you right now, $300 advantage, PX-9. Let's go down slide design here. Now, Glock, as we're going to see, basically is just kind of squarish, rectangular-ish. All right, let's have a look at the slide design. As we know, the Glock, not too exciting to look at. Very similar from the top, though. You can see the beveling here, right around the sides. PX-9. You have both front and rear cocking serrations. Huge bevel here. Now, this is going to turn some people off. Some people don't like the geometric beveling. They say it's maybe too sharp. They prefer something a little bit more rounded. There's a look at the muzzle in the front. Okay, beveling right around the muzzle area. There is a look at the cocking serrations on the front and the rear. All right. Going around to the front, pick rail for accessories. Glock 19, like the way that the cocking serrations go all the way up to the top. I like how this muzzle thickness in the front is a lot thinner. When we get the PX-9, and we're going to see that it's just a little bit chunkier on the front. But again, not much excitement on the top, just squared off, but nice rounded beveling. Nothing too sharp, very clean, very simple. And you do have an accessory rail in the front here. You can see the nice beveling here on the Glock that makes it look so clean and so simple. And I'm going to go muzzle to muzzle here so you can see just how thick the PX-9 is. So this one's kind of hard to call. They both have the same slide features. It's just going to depend on what you like to look at. I prefer the cleanness of this Glock 19 or Glocks in general versus having all that craziness in the front. Plus, I don't like the thickness of the muzzle up front. So I'm going to have to give the slide design aesthetics to the Glock 19. Love the way that looks, so clean and so simple. All right, let's have a closer look at these trigger guards. We're going to notice here that the PX-9 has a thinner trigger guard this way. Thickness-wise, that way, it's about the same. But here's a closer look at that. Pretty flat up front. They do have texturing on the front. Again, that's to help people that use their pointer finger up here grip the pistol like that. All right, so there's a look at that here. Nice undercut and a groove cut right on the grip here to get your middle finger way up on that grip so you can get up there as far as possible. And then really big space up front here. So not a big deal, but there's some people that like to shoot with gloves. So just to give you a size reference, here is a quarter. Okay, that's what that looks like there. And let's bring in the Glock 19. You can see that it's a thicker polymer trigger guard up here. I do like this, though, how they have this little swedge cut in here for people that do like to shoot like this, because the PX-9 is flatter, as we can see up here. It's flatter. So you got a little curve in here. Also stippling in the front. All right. Here's a look at what that quarter looks like in there. Okay, so you see a little bit less space with the Glock there. And you can see, obviously, both of these have trigger safeties. And man, that PX-9, that is beautiful. That red accent on the trigger looks great. I'm going to have to give the advantage to the PX-9 on this one. Not only because there's more space up here, but that red trigger guard is pretty good looking. All right, let's have a look at the controls on the PX-9 and the Glock 19. They're going to have similar controls, just different sizes, as we're going to see here. Again, both feature the trigger safety, no manual safety. Here's a closer look at the slide catch release and the takedown lever. They give you a lot of space on here, guys. Okay, a lot of space on here. The one criticism that some people have about the Glock 19 is that it's just too small, as we're going to see. There's just not enough room for your thumbs to grab onto, especially if you're wearing something like gloves. Going to tip it sideways so you can see it this way. Or some people might not like the fact that it sticks out this far. There's a look down the frame. Roll it over this way. Yeah, there's a good look at that. Again, a lot of real estate for your thumbs to rest on, and just very easy to grip that, to take it down. Here's a look at the magazine release. No issues punching that out. Okay, and that is swappable to this side as well. Oh, this cutout really makes a difference too when you're gripping down on it. Okay, there's a look at the controls on the PX-9. Look at how tiny the slide catch release is on the Glock 19. It is small, guys. It is tiny. And there is a takedown lever there. You got to pull this down on both sides, and it can be a little bit tricky if you don't have enough fingernail to bring those down. But here, I'm going to tip it sideways. And, you know, these notches have improved over the years where the lever sits on there. So there's a look at the Glock 19 control. So slim. I do like the way that looks, but that is really hard to grip onto with gloves sometimes. So most of the time, people will get the aftermarket ones. Okay, there's a look at that. Down the frame. Can't even see it. Good job, Glock. And there's a look at the typical Glock magazine. Now, they do have the extended magazines available for these. I have a little bit trouble reaching for it. I have to kind of roll it over and punch it out. Just because the grip angle is very weird here for me. So that's one of the things I don't like about the Glock grip angle and magazine release. With this grip, very easy for me just to punch it out. So some people might not like the fact that it has the angle on there, but I'm going to have to give the control advantage to the PX-9. All right, let's have a look at the grip on the PX-9. The first thing I want to mention is I just love the grip angle on the PX-9. It feels more natural to me. Here's a closer look at the texturing. All right, you got all around side panels, front strap, all the way to the back strap area. There is a groove cut out in the front that might irritate some people if your finger doesn't fit in there naturally. I don't mind it. You got a nice cutout back here to give you support in the web of your hand to control that muzzle rise. Feels really good. So grip angle, fantastic. Grip texture, good. I like the cutout back here. Now, a lot of options here. So with the PX-9, you can change not only the back strap, but you can change the side panels. And if you wanted to, there's a magazine well that you can insert down here too. So here's a look at the side panels. You get different combinations here, as well as 2 more options for the back strap. And again, you have your magazine well if you want to put it in there. So a fistful of options, 20 plus options for the PX-9. All right, let's have a look at the Glock 19. Now, for those not familiar with Glock, there's a few things about this profile that make it iconic. Number one, the very simplistic scored off slide profile. Number 2 is this angle of the grip, right? So it's more of a backslash than straight up and down. In fact, here is the PX-9. You can see the difference there in the slant of the Glock 19. Now, if you're afraid of that, because a lot of people hate this grip, they just can't stand the way that it slants forward. And they say that it's kind of awkward in the hand. If you train with it, you're going to adapt to it. But I know a lot of people feel more natural with the grip that's more straight up and down like that. But if you like the simplicity of Glock and you like all the accessories that they have, don't even stress it. Now, in recent years, Glock has adapted to the requests of the industry for their customers. They've started putting the front cocking serrations on there, as well as now including replacement back straps. So there is the standard ones, and they now have ones with beaver tails because there isn't much of a cutout back here. All right, let's have a look at the grip texture here. This is their pretty much standard squared off pyramids, flattened pyramids on the top there. All right, so no points, just kind of squared off and flattened. Can get a little bit slick. Now for me, this grip feels chunky this way and chunky this way. Right, as compared to the PX-9, I'll show you the profile here. Slim, but these palm swells feel really nice. So it's thinner this way and thinner that way, and I think that's why it's easier for me to reach the magazine release. So we'll have a comparison again going that way. A lot more shape in the PX-9. Okay. And then I'll tilt it this way so you can have a look at it. The profiles this way. You can see they're a lot thinner in areas, making it easier for people with smaller hands to reach that magazine release. So I'm going to have to give the grip, profile, and feel to the PX-9. So we can't really do a round capacity comparisons because we have a compact versus a full-size frame, but I will say I love polymer magazines. I love these. I think they're easier to load. They make less noise. Now, if you don't want to purchase the Glock ones, there's tons of other companies out there that make aftermarket magazines for Glock. KCI makes really good ones. So I like polymer more than steel. Now, there's nothing wrong with these. They're made by Mekgar, and they are styled after the SIG P226, which for some people is an advantage if you got SIG stuff flying around. Again, Mekgar. This comes with an 18 rounder with the extension of 2, so that's a 20, and this is an 18 rounder. So, you know, I would say it's a draw between magazines, but I do prefer polymer. I will, however, say that the magazine loaders, I'm going to give the edge to the Tisas. Look how flimsy the Glock one looks compared to the Tisas one. Oh, did I tell you? The PX-9 comes with an IWB holster that's inside the waistband holster. So, hey, advantage, Tisas. All right, before looking into the triggers, let's get a weight comparisons. So the PX-9 with the 18-round magazine coming in at 1 pound, 11.9 ounces. Glock 19 with the 10-round, there should be lighter in weight. Yep, coming in at 1 pound, 8 ounces. And Glock 17 with the 17-round magazine coming in at 1 pound, 9.6 ounces. So the heaviest of the three, PX-9. All right, let's have a look at the trigger action on the PX-9. There is a cocked trigger indicator on the back, so when the trigger is pulled, that goes away, so you can clearly see if your trigger is cocked or not. Okay, so here we go. All right, that is actually not the take-up. Take-up is right about there. So it's there's a little bit of creep in there, and the brake, pretty crisp. I would say not as crisp as a Walther PPQ or a Canic, but definitely a lot more crisp of a brake than the Glock. Here's the reset. Okay, kind of far out there. And then remember, a little bit of creep, and then the wall is right here, and it breaks. Let's do a couple more. Okay. Okay, so again, here we go. Wall, creep, break, reset. A little bit further of a reset than I'd like. And then back on it, and then here's the break. And we'll do one more. Okay, again. Here is the first wall here, a little bit of creep, nice clean break. Here is the reset. And then back on it. There's a little bit of creep there. And then the break. You know, I'm going to say that this trigger feels more like a Glock trigger than a Canic or a PPQ trigger. Let's have a look at the Glock trigger. All right, let's have a look at the stock trigger on the Glock 19. Same trigger as the Glock 17. Just notoriously known for having a real spongy, a lot of take up, a very muted break. And that's why a lot of people exchange them out. And I'm really against doing that because I don't like adding on cost to a pistol. And that's why a lot of other companies are offering triggers that are a lot better that come stock with the pistol. But let's have a look at it here. So we're going to see all of this take up in the front here. Okay, so it's all the way up here. And then that's actually where the wall is. Now, this take up in here is not smooth. Like on a CZ, P10C, or a Canic, or Walther, the take up is very smooth. Like it gets you to the first wall just immediately. So you got this here. There it is right there. And here is the break. Okay, very muted. Here's the reset. This does have a very crisp reset. Nice click. Feels really good. And then back on it. Okay, we'll do it 2 more times. Again, all this take up here. All this take up. There's the wall. There's that. Nice crisp reset. And back on it. Okay, one more. Again. All that take up, and it stacks. You know, it just gets a little bit harder to pull the more you get to the front of the handle here. All right, break and reset, and back on it. All right, let's see how much these triggers weigh. All right, first pull on the Tisas PX-9, hooked in, pulled straight back. That can't be right. 4 pounds, 7.8 ounces. That's got to be close to 5. Okay, clear it out. Do it again. Yeah, okay. 4 pounds, 1.1 ounces. We'll do one more. See if it goes above 5. 4 pounds, 8.7 ounces. Not as crisp as I would like it, but because of its lightness, this trigger feels really good, guys. Really, really good. All right, first pull, Glock 19, hooks in, straight back, coming in. 4 pounds, 10 ounces. Okay, close to 5. Close to 5. Clearing that out. Coming in 4 pounds, 11.5 ounces. Oh. Normally Glock triggers are a little bit more heavy than that here. So we'll hook one more in. Get it straight back. 4 pounds, 11.6 ounces. So I'd say the trigger weights are about the same, but the crispness advantage I would give to the PX-9. So does the Tisas PX-9 Gen 3 keep up with the Glock 19 as far as available features, stock right out of the box? And the answer is absolutely. For $300, you're going to get better iron sights. It's already milled out for an RMR. That alone is worth more than the Glock 19. I think it's got the better trigger and the better comfort as far as the grip goes. Now, does it outdo or keep up with the Glock 19 in the performance department? Well, we'll save that for part 2. But for right now, guys, I just want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.